Did that happen? Should we like have a moment of silence still? Or?
Yeah, I think that's respectful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so House of Dragon, season 2, episode 1 came out.
God bless it did.
I watched the episode twice.
Just now, really.
Just now, really.
We ended the episode like, you want to watch it again?
Yes. Oh man, but let me just say, honestly, good first episode.
Well done.
For the season. Starting from the beginning of the episode, hearing that familiar song. It's the Starks. Like,
yeah, it's the Starks song.
Yeah.
Chills immediately.
Yes. I remember one of the things we were kind of like, not arguing, but like back and forth on was the big ass sword on his back.
It's not ice.
I know.
It's not
I
ice.
legit thought it was ice though.
Yeah.
Like I can't help but think it was.
It's a big freaking
it's a
sword.
Big ass sword because he is like head of House Stark, right? He's not just there at the wall. Like,
no, he is the head of House Stark.
Yeah, okay. Hence why I legitimately thought it was ice, just because of big ass sword.
Yeah.
Now, if someone in the comments is like, no, that was ice, I will feel so vindicated.
That does not look like ice. Like, that has a different hilt. It can't be ice. I'm fervently on that. I don't think that's ice at all.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll figure out
from
in the
a
hate
random
comments
commenter
below.
who probably won't comment.
Proves me wrong. You know what? Say it in your heart, but like in the comments, just lie to yourself and say that I was right. Anyway, so moving on from that scene, we get a scene with the two blondie hotheads, Damon and Rhaenys. Yeah, you got it.
Good scene. Also love how they kind of address one kind of thing that I think you and I both were. I scratched my head at when I was really thinking about it after like, the season finale.
It's the thing that genuinely, like, I love House of Dragon, but this scene did piss me off a little bit. The scene that wasn't in the books, by the way.
Wasn't in the books, yeah.
When Rhaenys just pops out of the ground in the dragon and could easily have just ended the war right there, but just doesn't because, oh, it's not my war to start. Well, don't give me that. You could have saved so many lives, even though you killed so many innocent people. Like, you could have ended the war, but you did it on the quote-unquote principle of the thing. And then Damon walks up to her and is like, you could have ended this war so quickly, and I'm happy that he acknowledges it because it was a dumb thing to do.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm happy that they kind of tried to address it some more and show that, like, oh, people are kind of justifiably pissed at her. Yeah. By people, I mean Damon.
Yeah.
You know,
and Rhaenys is not a bad character. It's just that one moment that was added that is kind of dumb. And if it's going to be dumb, you kind of have to address her like, hey, that was a dumb decision. Yes. Let's bring it up for a second.
So I'm happy that, yes, like, it was addressed that, like, that was a really dumb decision.
Yes.
Right? She doesn't even say anything in response. And
no,
I like to think it's because she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, good scene. I also love when he's just, at the very end, when he's like, this is a command. He's like, would you if you were the king?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
That's a good, because she's got like the old lady sass. Like she's not taking crap from him. Like, this isn't taking anything away from Damon. Damon's still a great, tough character. And they have their moments with each other where, like, yeah, he proved her wrong, but also, like, you're not the king. You can't just order this person around. And also, she's coming from the position of understanding where Rhaenyra is because she was a mother that lost a daughter and a daughter at the same time. So she understands 100%.
I believe the scene after Aegon going to get his son.
Yep, grab his kid
for the small council meeting.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Aegon's his need to basically like involve his son more to be a better dad than his dad was, but also his need for validation and love. Again, like, he neglected by his father and somewhat his mother, because Alicent was not the best of moms.
No, she wasn't. And
not that she was a like abusive mother or anything like that, but quite distant. Like, was not nurturing or anything like that.
No, I mean, she had that unfortunate pressure of having to have him grow up in the shadow of Rhaenyra with the fear in the back of her head of if Rhaenyra gets the throne, she could have her sons killed because they pose a direct threat. So she had that fear in the back of her head, and she kind of forced Aegon to do things that he didn't want to do, and because of it, I'm sure he felt unloved. That's not excusing his actions because
no.
He was a bit of an R-word in the like season 1, but you understand where his character is coming from.
For sure. Now, one thing I do, going to the scene before that, when he first goes into the children's room where his sister / queen is / wife. Yeah. God. I love the line she gives at the end of it, where it's like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And of course, Aegon's like, we have nothing to be scared of. Like, you know, they're like, essentially because, you know, our dragons are bigger. You know, but she's like, no, I'm not scared of dragons or whatever. The rats.
Yep.
I was like, Especially at the very end, I was like,
Yep. Everyone should really start to like pay her more attention from now on, because even I, who loved season 1 and wanted to like pay attention to everything that she was saying, because I know that she was going to be like telling the future or whatever, because she does have that ability to kind of like see in the future and see visions. Even I didn't pick up on that. Like, I don't know what that means at all. But then later on in the episode with the stuff, that stuff happening, you're like, oh my gosh. And it means even more on a second viewing.
It was good. I liked it. I like the relationship kind of between Aegon and Aemon. It kind of parallels the relationship between Viserys and Daemon in a way.
Or Jaime and Tyrion. The fact that like they're very polar opposites, but they're still brothers and they're still loyal to each other.
But I mean, I'm mostly focusing on in the lens of House of the Dragon.
And you're correct. Yeah.
I agree. I see where you're coming from, but yeah, I'm mostly drawing parallels from with like Daemon and Viserys, like two vastly different people, but like
loyal.
Yes, because again, I don't know if Aemon has other aspirations in the future, just because I haven't read the book / snippets of point of views or whatever. Aegon does kind of consider his brother's loyalty. He's like, oh yeah, he's like a loyal hound.
But at the same time, like, Aemon knows that he would be a better king than his brother. And I definitely think that he has aspirations for the throne. I mean, even in an earlier trailer, there's a shot of the throne and then a reverse shot of Aemon just looking at the throne. Yeah. You know he wants the throne. He could be better king.
Hence why I'm kind of paralleling like the relationship between Viserys and Daemon, because Daemon... Yes. Again, he was the same way with his brother. I think Daemon, like, he was like, oh yeah, I would be a way better king.
Yeah. I mean, in the first scene with Daemon Targaryen, he's sitting on the throne.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely a hint of, like, I do want power, but at the same time, there is this brotherly loyalty.
Yeah. I love Aegon's just behavior towards it. Like, let's just fucking burn down the blockade. The fat Tully fucking burn his banners, or either he raises his banners for me or I burn them. It's just like... Because he's just immature. He's just like, let's just use force.
Yeah.
Because again, in his mentality, he's like, I'm the fucking king, man. Like, who's going to stop us?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the early days of Daenerys Targaryen, when she didn't quite know how to rule properly yet. Like, conquering she knew how to do, but like ruling is a whole different thing entirely. And that's a complicated process. You need allies. You do need these people, despite the fact that you technically can destroy them. At the end of the day, you do need this world to like you, and you do need allies. And you can't just burn all your... Because, again, it's the thing. It's the same thing that Tyrion told Daenerys, you can't rule over the land of Ash.
Yeah, no, overall, I really like the small council meeting scene, which I also realized we actually skipped a different scene. Kristen Cole and Alicent.
Knew that.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Totally knew it. I mean, like, especially in, like, I forget which episode, it was one of the last ones in the first season where, you know, she was saying, like, you know, your feelings towards me as your queen. There was, like, a pause there. I'm like, okay. And then it was just confirmed this episode. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
They fucking. I love how I was just like, we can't do this anymore. That didn't last long.
That didn't last 2 days, really.
Well, one thing that I'm kind of iffy on some with just House of Dragon in general, and it kind of shows in this episode, at least in my eyes, the progression of time is kind of wonky. Because sometimes I don't know, like, how much time really passes.
That was the case with season 1 as well. I agree.
And one thing I liked about Game of Thrones is that I really felt like you had a really clear... It wasn't, like, spelled out to you, but, like, how much, like the passage of time, right? Yeah. Like, for example, when Jon and Tyrion are going to the Wall and stuff like that, like, there's an actual journey. And you kind of follow some of it.
Yeah,
right?
It's not like season 7 where they're just automatically
fucking teleporting.
Yeah, which they do in House of Dragon. And I do not think that this show suffers from it, to be completely honest with you. House of Dragon is very different storytelling-wise than Game of Thrones. And it really, really improves the story when you're just showing these events unfold rather than just like the jumping in between. Because we don't need to do the same thing where Game of Thrones, where Tyrion is traveling from here to here and he has Bronn and he comes across like the wildling people on the way there. Like we don't need to show that. We need to see these events. And it would have been worse if the first episode didn't end with blood and cheese.
Just the scenes with Rhaenyra.
Oh man,
I gotta say how it's kind of like with Furiosa. She is just silent.
Yep.
For the whole episode, except for her one line,
one sentence.
What a line, too! What what a line. But I love how like she's basically like she needs to like she's just looking for like proof that her son is truly gone. That Lucerys Velaryon, aka Luke Skywalker, is that her son Luke is dead. Her breaking down, oh boy. And I love this the what a great shot of where you see the scared people, like you see the backs of the scared people as they're like looking down to where the dragon and Rhaenyra are, while Rhaenyra is like basically bawling her eyes out. Her dragon basically like in a way kind of like maybe not shields her, but like he hovers over her. You know,
there is this thing.
Great shot.
Yeah, I agree. There is this thing with the Targaryens where their dragons are connected more to them than other people.
Yes,
like those dragons can like bond to them to the point where like they feel the same emotions. Remember in the scene where Rhaenyra was giving birth and her pain was being shared with her dragon, like her dragon was in pain as she was in pain. And even with the bloodworm, Daemon's dragon, that guy is angry when Daemon's angry and is hurt when Daemon's hurt. Like those dragons are connected to the Targaryens.
And I love the little scene between her and Daemon where like they're I think their heads touch for a moment.
Oh yeah, he does. Like it's kind of adorable, but like it's adorable in the way where like this is a little like disturbing, but at the same time like he's just checking on her. He like did you figure out what you want? She gives him like a little nod.
He's like, did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, and
I think she gave that nod
of approval. I got it.
And she walks past him, not saying fucking word.
Yep.
And they try to like get down to business, and you could just see just the suppressed rage and like just sadness that she wants to vocalize it, but she is in the room.
She just can't. I don't think she can.
No, that's yeah.
Well, it's like she goes into this room to try and take command, but she just can't get her son out of her head, and she just blurts it out.
Like I want Aemon.
Yeah.
I think does she say I want Aemon Targaryen? Yeah, she does say that.
Yeah, I want Aemon Targaryen, and then she looks at Daemon.
She looks at Daemon
as if to say, you know what to do. Because
she's just looking at the map, I believe, at first.
Yes.
But then as she's saying it, she then looks forward, which, Daemon is at the other head of the table.
Yep.
So she looks at Daemon when she says, I want Aemon Targaryen.
Yeah, and then she walks away, and then Daemon has the look of like, all right, I know what to do.
Yes.
Time to commit atrocities.
Right.
I love Daemon. Daemon is my favorite character in this show. He is such a complex and interesting character, and he's a very unpredictable powerhouse of a character. But he is not above committing atrocities and war crimes. He has a heart. Yeah. He has loyalty to his family. He does, to an extent, love his family. But he is not a good person. He will kill you. And like, oh, you're in the way? Well, let me just cut off your toes and feed him to your children. Like, he will not do that. Like, by the way, this is his sword, and we both have his sword.
Yeah.
It's very clear that I like Daemon Targaryen as a character.
And again, this is not my sword. This is just Jacob's other Daemon sword.
I got two swords. Yes. I got two Daemon swords.
Two Daemon swords.
Yep. In case anyone breaks in this house, I've been waiting for this moment. Please do it.
You're not going to defeat a burglar with a sword, Jacob.
Watch the nightly news. I will.
Okay, sure. The other scene I kind of like when Aegon is in the throne room, when like he does his entrance, he's walking in.
Yeah.
And I love how his posse, they're like, yes, Aegon,
the magnanimous,
the magnanimous, and he's just all these like some of these titles, and I love Aegon's. He's just like, the magnanimous.
He's taken aback by it.
And I love how the guy is just like,
I don't know.
And I
love that later on in the show, he's talking to them all drunk and everything. And it's like, dude, no one knows what magnanimous means.
Oh, also, I like how like he says, "Oh, a good morrow," or whatever, and people are laughing at him. Aegon's just like, "Oh, hey, no need to be nervous, bro."
And he's genuine about it. He's not like one of those villains that's saying something and then completely does the opposite to mess with him. Like, no, he's just being serious.
And I love the terminology he uses, or the verbiage he uses when he says, "How can your king serve you?"
Yes.
And when he said that, I was just like, I was stunned. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the back of my head, I was like, wow, maybe in like a few years, he might not be so terrible a king.
No, if this was like peacetime, I think he could be trained to be a good king.
Like, honestly, I honestly was just like, cool. Granted, it might just be for face, right? But better than Joffrey.
Oh,
literally almost anything's better than Joffrey.
Quite a few things are better than Joffrey.
Most people are better than Joffrey. Some still worse. The Mad King. Anyways.
Goodness gracious.
Anyways.
Maegor the Cruel.
And when the lack of birds, because I don't remember the peasant's name, but the peasant, the farmer peasant, he's like, so a tenth of my herd flock were taken by the crown.
Yeah.
But no, he's just like, oh, well, you should have it back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yep.
And again, going back to kind of what we were mentioning before, I think like Aegon he craves validation and love because he didn't get it from his own parents.
And to go even further on that, there is a layer of sympathy that he has for people. And like to prove this, when Mr. Hightower, the Hand of the King, he starts to push back on it and say, hey, if you start doing it with this guy, then more people are going to come and expect that from you. And he resists that by saying, like, well, he came all this way. Can we just give it? Like, there is a layer of sympathy to this character who, to be fair, is not I would not call Aegon a good person, but there is still a layer of sympathy.
There's a sense of, like, because I think, even though he was neglected by his dad, I think he still sees the way his dad ruled as maybe the way he wasn't during peacetime, the correct way to rule, how he treated his people.
100%.
And because I really think, because Aegon's, he's like, I want to honor this. Like, I want to, he came all this way. I'm going to give him his sheep back.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's the third guy, the blacksmith, with all the other, he's representing all the other forgers, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Or all the other blacksmiths. And he's like, so like us making the scorpions, like those are expensive, man. And it takes like a couple weeks to make them.
Yeah.
And when he's basically like, can we get like the payment up front, so that way we feel more at ease, when we're doing this for you. Aegon is just like, you will be properly rewarded. And Otto motherfucking Hightower, he starts walking up. And again, I may be completely overanalyzing this, but I really do think that the blacksmith, he's like, he seems really happy, but then when Otto is walking up to Aegon, I think there is just a brief flash of concern because I think his gaze shifts to Otto, and he's like, oh no, he's gonna ruin this for me. And Aegon, he looks straight at Otto as if I fucking dare you to question me on this. Maybe not as aggressive as I'm making out to be, but like I like to, he looks straight at Otto's just like, we would be nothing without the common folk, and Otto just fucking backs off. And I'm like, ooh, Aegon has some fucking fangs.
He has a backbone.
He does have a backbone.
Like he looked right into Otto's eyes and like back down. And I don't think Otto is used to this because Viserys was one of those kings that just kind of like, he backed down quite a bit. He listened to Otto all the time, but he did, like, Viserys was not a king that had a backbone or really like tried to stand up for himself. He wanted peace on it and he wanted to please everybody.
Yes.
I think Aegon knows this too. Aegon knows that his dad didn't have a backbone. He wanted to have a backbone.
And here's my thing. I think the problem that Otto faces is that he has spent so long just, having a king that would just heed his advice.
Yeah.
Without really questioning him much.
Yeah.
Because Otto, he's not caring about the happiness of the people at all. While Aegon, which again, is his end game to make sure his people are happy? Maybe not. Probably not. Who knows, really?
I think he does want to make his people happy so they can continue to love him because they want that love.
Yeah, so his end game is to be loved, right? So and to be loved, you need to make your people happy.
Exactly.
When Jaehaerys makes it back to Dragonstone, right? Oh, the scene is so good. So Jaehaerys, he has to give his report.
Yep.
Right? And he's doing a bang up job at first.
At first, yeah.
Yeah, he's somewhat composed. You could still see like it's kind of there's a bit of a crack there.
Yeah.
But the moment he brings up Cregan Stark, there are even more cracks.
Mm-hmm.
The moment his composure is breaking, Rhaenyra doesn't even fucking hesitate, which is what makes this. This is what I love. When I think he hears her like approaching him, and he looks up, and I think when he sees that his mom is no longer that stoic individual, that right now who he is looking at is not his queen right now.
Yeah,
it is his mom, and that is when he breaks down. And again, you actually mentioned it where he's the one who goes to initiate a hug as his hands go up, and Rhaenyra takes him in instantly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. I love this scene so much.
It is such a gut punch. The first time I saw this scene, it just reduced me to, I'm not sobbing, but goodness gracious, I felt for this character so much.
Oh, yeah.
Because in this moment, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to be impressive to the queen, because his mom is what he wants to be. He wants to be a kingly figure like his mom, or queen, I guess in this case, a queenly figure. He doesn't need a queen this time. He needs his mom.
Yep.
He needs to be comforted, because the worst thing possible happened. He lost his brother and she lost his son. And I agree with you. As soon as he sees that she is just as sad as he feels, he immediately goes for that embrace.
His defenses have been completely shattered at that point. And again, the way I see it, I feel like for him, it was seeing his mom like that, approaching him not as a queen, but as his mom. I think that's when, deep down, he's just like, I don't have to be strong right now. Best scene by far, and honestly good in like seasons 1 through 4 Game of Thrones, worthy.
I agree 100%. And it shows the stark contrast between where her kids are and the relationship with Rhaenyra's kids versus the relationship with Alicent's kids as of right now, because her kids right now don't respect her, love her, or want her in the room.
Yeah.
Whereas all of Rhaenyra's kids love her and want to be like her.
Now we're going to talk about one last scene.
I can still hear the bone.
Man, okay, I'm not going to lie. Even with not reading the book, right? Or books. Is it just one book or is it multiple?
It's one book.
Even without reading the book, Aemon's not going to die. I already know that. But the way it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so fucked up.
It is
gut-wrenching. Oh,
suck. Now, I knew this was going to happen. This is a very notable event, and everyone, and I talked about this a couple episodes ago, everyone who knows the story of the Dance of Dragons knew this was going to happen. This is called the blood and cheese moment, and you knew in this moment that one of the Green's kids was going to get their heads lopped off. And I thought that they did this scene very, very well, because we don't follow any character that we are introduced to in the first season. These are brand new characters, and we follow them for a pretty significant amount of time, but it's just the buildup to this horror show. They don't show, thankfully, they don't show the kid's head getting lopped off. But you hear everything.
Dude, the sound, honestly, just hearing it is almost as bad as if you were forced to watch it.
It's, exactly what's happening, because you hear a very quick, brief, yell of pain, and then just silence, and then just bone.
Well, it's just a muffled scream.
Yeah, it's a muffled scream.
Yeah, and then just...
It's horrible because it's a kid. It's so much worse because it's a kid. But just in the fact that, they're taking the head for proof that they can show Daemon, look, son for a son. But goodness gracious, it is just so painful, especially because the mother, I have to choose the son that I could live without in that moment. Obviously, that's no exaggeration, but goodness gracious. In that moment, she takes the other kid, she retreats to her mom's room, and her mom is getting busy.
She's riding the stallion.
Yeah.
If you consider Kristen Cole a stallion. Because that was Kristen Cole.
I mean, he's a handsome dude.
Yeah.
Just, goodness gracious.
Yeah,
he does have a pretty good consistency of only banging the queen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he has high standards, you know?
Yeah, very high standards.
Yeah.
It was the right person to probably see that because I don't think she cares.
Oh no!
Especially not in the moment where like I have bigger things to worry about. Like,
yeah, I just basically let my son die.
There's a headless child in the other room.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty rough.
Thanks for watching this episode. Why am I looking at you?
You look at the camera.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Couch Gaming Podcast.
Why's your sword falling?
Oh. Thanks for watching this episode of the Couch Gaming Podcast.
What are you pointing at?
What the fuck, Jacob? I don't think this is gonna make it in, but we'll keep going. Thanks for tuning in. If you click on my fat pudgy face, you can watch one of our previous episodes. Or if Jacob feels like it, he could put something on my stomach, and that could be another episode that you can watch.
Yeah, the moon.
You see, it's always the fucking fat jokes. They're running out of material.
At least someone's running.
I'll fucking kill you.